Hey, Adam Partington. It's a while since we've done one of these, isn't it, mate?
It's been a while, yeah. It's since the soccer cards and chill days.
Yeah, you've got a nice little new background there. I don't know where your little statue of Andy Carroll's gone, but it's a nice little background you've got.
The statue of Andy Carroll's up there where I've got my books, right? But I don't want to get it because before we hit record,
you spill coffee everywhere.
Yeah, because I got up from my seat. So I don't want, even though I've got no water and coffee on my desk now, I still don't want to get up.
And I've just given myself a blurry background, which I don't know why my hand's going blurry as well, because I'm upstairs in the office because downstairs is like bedlam. We're trying to get some orders out to some clubs in Australia for our teamwear department, and it's probably the busiest week of the year on that. So a bit crazy downstairs, which is
spinning many plates.
Exciting, mate. I'm excited that one day we'll be throwing out Futera United jerseys as well, which will be exciting once that's designed, etc. So that would be cool. So, Ads, we are going to have this today so we can sort of have a little chat about probably the most complicated part of what we're doing, and that is the league system and where we are with it. So you've stopped there. It just sort of cut out and then went back in again. Do you want to say that question again?
Let's talk about Thai football, shall we?
Oh, we should indeed, mate. The complicated football that is Thai football. It's you could probably take a year to cover the whole subject, but I'm going to try and decomplicate it and put it into the quickest form that I can. And I'll be completely honest, even sometimes I'm lost by it. So I'm glad that it's sort of Den, Kate, and Coach Breeze. We don't talk about Coach Breeze enough, by the way. He's sort of Den's.
No, we don't.
We don't. He's sort of Den's assistant in this, and he is literally a hero. He's done so much work for the club and getting everything ready. I think we need to put him on camera a little bit more because he's such a good character as well. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain it from all the chats I've had and from being out here for years as well. So in Thailand, you have the Thai League, which consists of T1, which is sort of Division 1, the equivalent of like the English Premier League. Then you've got T2, which is like the equivalent of the Championship. Then you've got T3, which is not quite like League One and League Two in England. I'm going to use England as my way of describing it. What T3 is split into regional areas. Now, T1 is professional, T2 is professional, T3 is like a hybrid between professional and semi-pro as well. So you could be either that goes in there. Now, I'm sure someone in the Discord or the comments will tell me that that's changed. So like, I'm not looking at exact rules for this year, but that's sort of been traditional as the T3 is a hybrid between semi-pro and pro. So you could be on either of that. Now, that's split into regional leagues. So you have sort of Bangkok Metropolitan, then you have ones that are on the outskirts of Bangkok, because you can go as far as field as say Hua Hin, which is maybe 2 hours away, or you could go to Pattaya, which is maybe an hour and a half away. And so it covers everywhere in Thailand. So you can go north, south, and there's different leagues in each one. To go up to T2 using that league, you need to win your regional league, which then puts you in a playoff against other clubs from around the country. And then once you get through to, I think it's the top 2, go up, and the bottom 2 of T2 go down. Under that, it gets slightly more complicated, and that's where we come in. So under that is TA. Now, to complicate things massively further, there used to be a T4, which merged with T3. Are you keeping up here, Ads? Because we're probably going to have a test afterwards for it.
I'm trying to, mate. I'm trying to. Don't tell me. We'll test the guys.
At least we can watch it back. Okay, so there used to be T4, and T4 and T3 merged to become T3. And what came out of that was TA, or Major League, or to really confuse it, T5. Now, so TA is, I'm sure there's going to be comments saying, Mark, you're wrong about this, but like literally we're going to go through everything here. So TA, the A stands for amateur. People call it Major League because it was sponsored by Major Cineplex, and people call it T5 because there was a T4, so it jumps down. So TA, Thai Amateur, is a totally different type of tournament. So again, it's regional, and I think there's 8 regions across the country. 2 of those regions are in the Bangkok area. I think again it's Bangkok Metropolitan, and then Bangkok, I can't remember what they call the other one. You play in those in a sort of Champions League style competition. It's a much shorter form competition, especially at the moment. So what happens in that is there are 8 to 10 teams in each zone that go into a group. You then play off against 5 of the teams in your group, and the top team in that part of the group then plays the top team in the other part of the group, which is the final game. Those teams then get, I love the way that you're sighing at this precise moment.
I'm just trying to retain as much of it as possible, because I'm going to get asked as well this question.
I know.
I do ask this question.
We're going to have to just keep on coming back, but I'm also going to write this down just so we can prove that I've got it wrong in parts as well. So the top team from each part of the group then play off in a playoff to see who wins that area. And I believe, but we're still waiting for confirmation, that team will then get promoted into T3, meaning that you're then into a semi-pro / pro environment, which is where we want to be. Like, right. That's the key thing. But also the top teams in each region would then play off to find out who the ends, like, final winner of TA is. So that would be the grand finalist. Now, it gets more confusing because COVID has obliterated football leagues around the world, and Thailand is no different to that. So leagues stopping and starting, etc. Meaning that TA, again, I believe 2020 and 2021 was called off. From 2022, I believe there's a meeting in a couple of weeks, but 2022 is 99% there, it's happening. So 2022 is a league that we're working on. Now, we have been accepted into TA for 2022. So that gives us that opportunity to get into the pro leagues if we can win our zone.
Yeah.
And from looking at our first training session and just being blown away by how good the players are, I think we've got a chance in that.
Well, we saw that with the live trials, Mark. We saw what we've got.
I've been here for a long time, and even at the start of this, I think my biggest worry was the kind of quality we'd be able to bring in, like, because we're going to have to start right at the bottom. We've got no choice. We're starting as a club. We're building a club from the ground up. I've read comments about sort of like, oh, they're starting off in like park football or semi-pro football, etc. That's what it is. That's how you begin a football club. You're like,
Yeah, I love that because you know what? I want to touch on these criticisms a little bit because we've had them from outside of the community. This hasn't come from obviously the community. And what I would say for that is, if we would have then all of a sudden been catapulted to the Premier League, that would have been used against us. Oh, these guys are big money. They're muscling in on Thai football. You can't win sometimes, Marcus. That is the lesson from all of it.
You can't win, but it's really important to us to do this properly. You start at the bottom, you build a club, you build the foundations. Like, we want to be here for years to come. So build the foundations as strong as possible. And that means you go through every part to become a successful football club. Like, we all know, I'm obsessed by like hashtag. I love hashtag United. I love Palmers. I literally am obsessed by them and have been for years. And what's beautiful about them is that they don't jump ahead. They start right at the bottom and they work their way up. And the journey, I call it a movie. You're watching a movie as they grow, and like the characters become like the heroes of the piece, etc. That is why we are doing this. We are doing this to build a legacy, to build something incredible. And jumping in at T1, where's the fun in that? It's like, I think I'm the kid that plays Football Manager and starts off as Yeovil or Forest.
Same.
Like, I think that's the problem.
Vale for me. I'd always try and take Vale to the Premier League because it's that journey of trying to get there. You know what I mean? If you could, for an easy life, just, start playing as City, but what's the fun in that?
Correct. That's the, like, I don't see that. And I think as a project that we want to carry on for years and years and years, and that is what this is about. This is not a one-season thing. This is for years that we're building something, a legacy that long after I'm gone, I want this to be around. So that's really important. So we start in TA as long as TA happens this year. Like, obviously with COVID, like a new strain could come tomorrow and that changes how Thai football is. Now, while we wait for there to be complete like approval that TA is going to happen this year, our biggest question mark of that was, well, we need competitive football. It's our first year in football and we need to have a competitive league to play in at the same time. With TA, whatever happens this year, it's going to be short for. Like when I was working out the dates for it, it's only like 2 months of football there. And it's very quick in succession. So one of our biggest things to solve was, how do we solve that problem? You have 2 months of football, but in a project like this, that's not enough. There needs to be more. And we also need to test how the players are. We need competitive games constantly. And I don't think that, I did have an idea about a way of doing friendly sort of tournaments or a friendly setup throughout the year, but we wanted a bit more than that. So after talking with them and talking with other teams that were going into TA, we came across the Bangkok Premier League, which is another league within the pyramid on the system. Now, Bangkok Premier League is, the way I always saw it was like, in the future, if you're in T1, it's a great sort of ground to bring up like young players, etc. It's a great way of pushing young players through the system so they're getting competitive football. But in this year, as we start, we need to look and say, right, this is a brand new team put together. TA is our way into the pro game, like within a year, if we can win that league. Now, it's a big ask because these players haven't played together, and it's not just about talent. It's about gelling. It's about how they get on, etc. And that's what we're working a lot on now. But we need those competitive games week in, week out. So I sort of set myself a target within the club that we'd hit around about 32 competitive games a year. That's what we wanted to start off with. So we've got loads of content. There's a reason why they're training, like, I think they're training 3 times a week at the moment, which is, we're practically a pro team playing like sort of semi-pro or amateur. So that was our biggest task. And so we have applied to go into the Bangkok Premier League. Bangkok Premier League, again, let's just complicate things even further. Bangkok Premier League is in the pyramid, but in the strangest way possible. There are 5 leagues in the Bangkok Premier League, and we come across the same problem again. You can't just join Division 1. It's not possible. We're starting at the bottom. So although, to be fair, Division 5 and Division 4 are coming in this year, so we've been put into Division 4. So exclusively, we can announce that we have a place in the Bangkok Premier League, and we have a place in TA. And from what my understanding is the Bangkok Premier League have agreed that any team that's playing in TA, which is a lot of them, will be able to play those games, and the Bangkok Premier League will work around that tournament. So a lot of teams this year can play in both tournaments. TA gives us an opportunity to get into the pros, and Bangkok Premier League Division 4 gives us a competitive situation every single week, which is what we need as a football club right now. Yeah.
And then what about the Thai FA Cup?
So, okay, so there's 2 more parts to this, just to complicate even further. So Bangkok Premier League also has its own cup, which is what we're really excited about. Everyone loves cup football. And then on top of that, by joining in with the Thai FA to join the TA, we've also been put in for the Thai FA Cup. And the Thai FA Cup is like well excited. Let's be honest. There's like a lot of
that's the bit. That's the bit. Of course, I'm excited by it all, but when I think about a potential cup run, I want that cup run.
I do as well. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I understand it totally. We had a whole debate this morning about whether or not the first rounds were regional, etc. And I was trying to find this out before I came on here. I don't know too much about the Thai FA Cup. All I know is that it's like the English FA Cup. As it goes on, you sort of have sort of first, second, third rounds, etc. And
you could potentially draw, unless like we go in, unless it works in the same ways that the big teams enter the competition in the third rounds. Not sure if it'll work like that, but there's the potential for us to
play a top
one of the big boys, which would be amazing.
Correct. Like you've got Bangkok Glass, I think they're called something different now, BG Patton or something. Mongtong, Buriram, they're massive clubs. So if you have the chance to play against them, it would just be like a game changer for us. I would put a couple of caveats. COVID changes things, and so it means that not just because if it comes now and there's a new strain, but it does change how leagues work, like for the foreseeable. So it could be that the Thai FA Cup, because they need it to be short form again, is only the pro clubs playing it this year, so they don't have to go through all the other rounds. It's plausible that could happen. And I'm not going to sit here and explain that I know everything about that Thai FA Cup. It's the one that sort of made my ears prick up and go, oh, wow, that sounds really exciting. Because I didn't expect it that we could go into that. But I don't understand it enough. And we're not going to sit here and go, oh, we're going to go into the cup and have a cup run. I just know that it's on the table and we're waiting to come back from it. Why we haven't done an official announcement is because I don't want to do official announcements on any league until I've got it on paper. Yeah. One of the funniest things was that I spoke to the guys that are getting this ready for us, which is like Kate and Coach Breeze, etc. And they said that the Thai FA had given us a luggage label as like a sort of like, you're in now and there's a luggage label. I've got it upstairs. It's a lovely luggage label, but I don't know what that means. Literally is just a Thai luggage label. So okay. The league situation is really exciting. It's
by the way, you do know someone like Blood Clot's gonna his name isn't Blood Clot's gonna want to see the luggage label now.
I'm gonna literally for Blood Clots, I know he's gonna want to see it, and everyone else as well. Lawrence will, etc. So Uncut, etc. All of them will want to see it. So I'll take a picture once we finish this, and we'll put it up on the screen.
You know, I just said Blood Clot and called him Blood Clot. Now I'm gonna call him Blood
Clot. Guys, just before we go on, ads, like I love the Discord. Like I'm a 42-year-old man who didn't even know that it existed. I had no idea what it was. I still struggle to understand how it works. Every day I'm confused. I wake up in the morning, I think I'm answering people and I'm not. But what a wonderful thing it is. Like our community is so much fun. It's so positive. You know, like with a project like this, there will be negatives. There will be things that go wrong, things that go right. And I sort of like, let's call it Web 2. In Web 2, those things that go wrong are always like a stress. In Web 3, it feels like everyone's in it together. Like I really, really enjoy it. I'm not saying that because this is our project, etc. I just love the fact that we can go in there and there's so many different opinions, but everybody sort of comes together and discusses this stuff. It's really, really exciting. And once it's good.
Sorry, no, go on, I cut you off. Carry on.
No, I was going to say, well, once it gets going and like the club's sort of like playing every week, imagine how much stronger that gets. It's really, really exciting.
Yeah, it's a mentality change because I think like I've always kind of like tried to ensure that things are polished and you know you're always saying the right things and your copy's completely perfect. But actually in Web3, like people don't expect that. That's why me just going in the back garden doing a bobble hat video. I got my bobble hat on, just literally telling the guys what's going on. You know, this now. This stuff is just what is actually what people want. And you know, we spent a bit of cash, as you know, and we did those professional videos, and we'll do more of them, talking the guys through. And you know, they're very corporate, as much as a video including me can be corporate, but they're corporate. And I don't think they're as powerful as just this type of stuff.
No, I sort of really enjoy this. I think we've got to do lots more of it, ads, because like we are able to give a bit more information by talking like this. Like the league, I must have written that out about 10 times, like as a sort of like, this is it. And it still was difficult to explain. I'm pretty sure that if you listen to this now, I'm still going to get a million questions because even I don't really understand what I've said. But yeah. Let's just summarize quickly, Ed. So from all that waffle that I've just said there, we have a place in the Bangkok Premier League in the 4th division. And I'm excited to say that that starts on the 29th of March. Don't know the fixtures yet, but we're on the 29th of March. The way I see that is I'm looking forward to seeing who sort of like our local rivals are. There's certain teams already that have sort of asked for friendlies like to get ready for it. I'm looking forward to that. I know a few of the coaches at certain teams as well, so that's exciting. So that's the Bangkok Premier League. Then in April, May will be the TA, and we'll get put into a group for that one. As long as it's going ahead, we'll get put into a group for that, and that will take place over sort of like 4 weeks to see how far we get in that. Now, if we go out the group stage, then that's it finished basically. And we're back into the Bangkok Premier League, carrying on with that. Bangkok Premier League, I think is 22 games this year. I think it's 12 teams in Division 4. So I think it's 22 games this year, plus the cup, plus TA, which is, we'll work out how many games that is, plus the Thai FA Cup, if that happens, which would be immense, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. So that's the key points to it. Biggest piece of news, and you're going to have to bear with me 1 second because I can't say the name of the team, and I'm going to try. biggest piece of news, and this is exclusive, and I'm pretty sure it's what everybody wants to hear right now, is our first real friendly match for the season is... I think, yeah, there we go, yours did. Is next Sunday. And we are playing against Pechawarot FC, who I believe are also going to be in our league. So we're going to see sort of what our level is there. They're going to be in our league. It's at home at Futera Dome, which is not a dome. And we'll be playing on the 27th of Sunday, the 27th at 6 p.m. Thai time, which I think we were debating whether the clocks go back this month, but I don't think they do, which is 11 a.m. UK time. And we're going to do a lot of sort of build up to that this week. Yeah, so a lot of talking to it. There's going to be some votes going on beforehand. This weekend, we're trying to get some votes out, which is around the aesthetics of the club. So I was going to say what they are, but let's just put them up as they go along. But we really need to get the brand of the club. So from the logo to the colours, etc. We want to get that all sorted so that we've got a brand, we've got a identity, basically. I think that's really, really important. So we're going to work on the voting for that in the next day or two. We have got Den at the moment. I put up a message before. It's really funny, Bud Clark's reaction to one of the messages earlier about Den, because it literally is like this. Every 10 seconds, Den's on the phone going, all right, like, I've got this at training. Can we vote on this? Can we vote on this? So we're going to have like I'll touch on Den in a second, but we're going to have like a Den's vote each week, which is like the stuff that he's sort of thinking about training and stuff like that. So the first one will come up soon. He's just done a video and it's about how he structures pre-season training at the moment. So he's going to tell you what he thinks and how we structure, and I want you guys to vote on that. And he'll have a little video which will translate, that will come out. I think that's probably going to be Monday on there. As I'm talking constantly at the moment, but do you mind if I just say a little bit about Den as well? Because I want to cover that a little bit. It's the best part of the project for me at the moment within the club is, imagine you take someone who has played football or coached football for the best part of 40 years. Den doesn't look it, but he's like about 48 now, I think. So for the best part of 40 years, you've played football and you've coached football. And then I come along and say, I want to change how you've done things throughout your whole life, and we want to do this project, and I want to see like where it can go, and I want to see how you can take to it, etc. Like, you think that somebody in football for this long would have said, not a chance, Mark. Like, that's not football to me. This is a totally different idea. It's a totally like, will it work? Will it not work? And he has a massive reputation in Thailand for what he does. He's a famous coach here. He was a famous player, basically. And I just got to say that every time we go down to that training to watch how he's taken to it. I remember the first meeting I ever had, and his reaction to it was, does that mean I'm like Simon Cowell? Although he didn't say it in English, obviously. He said it to Kate and she like translated it to me. But like, am I Simon Cowell? Which is like, that was our first step to understanding what we were about to do. And like, since then, like coming into training and every single decision, he's like second thinking about how the fans can think about that, or the decisions that he can make. And just how honest he is about every decision that he sort of makes with the 100 players getting in. Like, there was 113 players. He knew a few of those players that still didn't get into the final 36. And then even a couple that did, like, they certainly weren't the ones that he said were positive reviews. Some of those he didn't give positive reviews for that last 36, like for everybody to vote on, because he didn't believe that they were good enough for the squad. Like, there's always that thing, like he's in the industry, there'll be people around that want to be in the team. Like, does he try and do a favor for a mate and tell fans that they should be voting for this? No, he's literally straight down the line. This is what I think, because he's taken it so seriously. He's like fully invested in what this project is about, and having like Coach Breeze, which I'm sure is going to be a bigger part of the project as we go on. And Coach Breeze totally gets it. He's immersed in this kind of world. He understands where we're coming from on that. It's been really lovely to watch. That's the best way I can describe it. It's been lovely to watch.
It's great to have football people enthused by the project, for sure. And I do really like the fact that he doesn't speak English but knows who Simon Cowell is.
Yeah, that was for me as well. I think his wife sort of explained that bit a bit more. But yeah.
I don't know. We might have to. I'm not sure if this will natively sit in Discord because it's so big. So we might have to upload it to YouTube. I don't know. We'll work that out after, or put it out as a podcast. I don't know. Just quickly, mate. Yeah. Let's talk about the NFT side of the project for a second. We keep on getting questions about this minting thing. Are we going to cut it off? Objectively, you and I both agree, and same with Tricky Train as well. But it's not something we're going to do. Why is that?
This was a long-term project from the very start. Like, there wasn't this thing where we turned around and went, right, we're going to put these NFTs out and they're going to sell tomorrow. Like, that was like, we'll sell NFTs tomorrow, there's no doubt. But we didn't sit there and go, okay, this is going to be a sellout. We are literally trying to do something totally new. We are not like putting out a collection of perturbed pigeons. Like, that's not what we're doing this for. Like, we're doing this for because we've had a dream about this, and we believe it's a dream that lots of people have in the world. And is it a slow burn? Is the football industry invested in NFTs yet? No, they're not. Like, let's be honest about it. They haven't come into this yet. Will they? 100% they will. So are we before? Like, are we very, very early? Yeah, we are. Like, I'm answering my own questions here, but yes, we're early. We're a collectibles company that we're always supposed to go into the NFT world. NFTs, digital collectibles, we've been a collectibles company for 30 years. We're always going to step in that space, but we've said it a million times, we didn't want to do it in the most obvious way. Like, we didn't want to put out card collections. They've gone wrong already. We can see other people's have put them out and it hasn't worked how they expected. We wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something that we'd be proud of. And like, this is a journey that we're all on. So are we going to stop Mint? No, because this is a long-term journey. Like, we keep them going. People are going to want to come into the project all the time. It's like, we made enough that people can carry on coming into the project. And it's really important that we keep that up and we keep on going with it. So it won't be an early.
And straight up, you know, if you're looking for a short-term investment, you want to have it today and then sell it, you know, on Sunday, it might not be the project for you. But if you can see what we're trying to do here and you're excited by that, it's 100% that, you know, the project for you, I would say. So yeah, I mean, I'd say just on the early adoption thing, an exercise for any of the guys watching this, if you're going to the football this weekend, you know, just survey the people around you that you talk to at the football. Ask them if they know what NFTs are. You'll probably get about 80% of them look at you blankly, and then ask them if they own one, and you'll probably get maybe, you know, 0.1% of the people. There'll probably be one guy or girl that you speak to that's got one, maybe even that. So that just, the point I'm making is that just demonstrates how early we are.
Ads, that will change, and when it does, then I've got no doubt at all about how this project on the minting side works and goes from there. And I think that's why I'm not worried. That's why I'm sitting here going, well, that was all part of what we believed anyway. It's a slow burn. We knew that. And as it goes forward from here, it will, as the football industry comes into NFTs, then we'll have a stronger project ongoing. And I know, Ads, that we can't announce anything at the moment, but there is some big stuff coming down the pipeline, which is all to do with getting the football industry and football people involved in NFTs. And we're really putting sort of our back into this to make sure that happens. We're putting a lot of effort into making it happen. And I'm sure you'll have an announcement in the next few days to explain the first part of
that. I think so. Hopefully by Monday, I think we'll have that. So
that's
cool.
Yeah. So no, we're not going to stop them in. The future, you never know what happens, but it's not in our roadmap to do that. It's always been in it. It's a long-term project. It's a slow burn, and we believe that when the football industry comes into NFTs, then we are absolutely in the perfect position to be the football project. And that's up to you. And obviously, a little shout out to some other brilliant football projects that are out there that are doing the same, like they're on the same journey. Footium, Unreal, NFTFC, again, I love that one. And there's some other great ones as well out there. If I've forgotten anything, sorry about that. There's some other great ones out there that are really pushing this into the football space. And that's what we need right now.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
Cool.
All is good. Brilliant, mate. Any other questions before we wrap this up?
No, let's get this out there so the guys can see it.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's do it. All right, no worries. Thanks very much for listening, guys. And we'll try and do more of these as we go. Brilliant.